"You're not part of this family anymore," my sister Emma snapped. Right after I spent $25,000 on her wedding, I replied, "Then you're paying for it yourself and canceling every single vendor without warning." The laughter was the real breaking point, not the yelling, not even the actual words. It was the way everyone chuckled afterward, fake, forced, and uncomfortable. That kind of awkward laugh people use when someone says something cruel and nobody has the guts to speak up. "You're not part of this family anymore," my sister Emma snapped, sitting in front of a bowl of Caesar salad like she was just making small talk. Her voice was sharp, her eyes were wild, and her face was already flushed from too much coffee and no food all day. I still had my fork in hand mid-bite, frozen for a second, thinking, maybe she's joking. But then the room felt completely quiet, and slowly the snickering began. From my uncle, then my cousin, even my mom gave a weak, nervous smile and looked down at her plate. Right then, I realized I was done. I calmly placed my fork down, wiped my mouth with the napkin like I wasn't in a rush at all, and stared right at Emma. "Perfect," I said with a slow grin, the kind that always unsettled her. "Then you're paying for your own wedding." Then I stood up and walked away. No one stopped me. Not my mom, not even Emma's fiancé. That was the final family dinner I ever went to. But let me take a step back. You need to get something clear. I was never the one they favored. That title always belonged to Emma. Ever since she learned how to fake tears, she was the youngest, the miracle baby after 2 miscarriages, treated like royalty from the start. And me? I was the responsible one, the fixer, the one who stepped in after Dad died, the one who paid for things, the one who put my life aside so they could keep theirs going. So when Emma got engaged and came crying to me about money problems, despite her Instagram being full of spa trips and bottomless brunches, I said yes, like I always did. I paid for the venue, the band, the flowers, even gave a deposit for a giant 3-layer cake, she demanded with edible pearls, of course. And somehow I still wasn't enough. That dinner didn't cause the damage. It just broke what had already been cracked for a long time. The next morning, I made a decision. I started removing, one by one, the things Emma needed for her big fantasy wedding. Quietly, efficiently. She had no idea the whole thing was about to fall apart. That morning, I felt peaceful. Too peaceful. That calm you get when a storm's about to hit and you've already made peace with the destruction. When your chest stops hurting because you finally decided to burn it all down. I brewed coffee, sat at the table, opened my laptop, and started with the first task. The venue. I had already paid the deposit and the rest was supposed to auto-pay next week. I found the email chain with the coordinator, Jessica, who had been extremely patient with Emma's endless, over-the-top demands. "Hi, Jessica," I wrote. "I need to cancel the Montgomery wedding booking for June 3rd. Plans have changed and I'll be stopping all payments moving forward. I understand the deposit isn't refundable. Consider it a parting gift. Thanks." That was the first card to fall. Next, I moved on to the caterer. Emma had insisted on a fancy local food menu that was way out of budget. I agreed, mostly because I didn't want to be called cheap in front of the family again. Not that it mattered. I opened the invoice. $6,500 still due. Deadline in 2 days. I canceled it. Then the band, a small jazz trio from downtown. Emma said it added class. Nice guys. Really. I actually felt bad backing out. I told them honestly the event wasn't happening anymore. They were cool about it. Musicians get ghosted by rich brides all the time, and last came the florist. Emma had picked a floral designer who did dramatic stuff. Huge arches, tables drowned in petals. All for a group of people who'd spend the night fake smiling and pretending they weren't miserable. Just yesterday, the florist had messaged me about ribbon color options. I replied, "The wedding's canceled. Thanks for everything." By 10 a.m., every part of Emma's dream day had been erased. Quietly, cleanly, Still no word from anyone. No call, no text, not even a single emoji from my mom. They must have thought I was bluffing. They didn't know who they were dealing with. And I wasn't close to done because this wasn't just about money. It was about the way they acted like they could keep using me forever without consequences. Now it was time for Emma's fiancé to see the real person he was about to marry. Around midday, I was seated at my computer, staring at a folder I never thought I'd actually need. It was titled Proof of Generosity. I had created it months earlier out of annoyance after Emma went off during a brunch, saying I was in debt to her for being a tough kid during childhood. That moment stayed in my mind. So I began collecting evidence. Images of messages, saved audio, pieces of conversations, things she said without thinking, but I held on to. At first it felt childish. Now it felt important. The first file I opened was a screenshot of a chat between Emma and her closest friend, Kathleen. The date showed it was from about 3 months ago, just after she said yes to Luke. Emma: Luke is sweet, but like too sweet. No thrill. Nothing exciting. Kathleen: but you're still marrying him. Emma: girl, I'm exhausted. Dating broke guys over 30 is pointless. Luke is plain but secure. I'll take it. That was just the start. Then came the messages about our family, the ones that hurt worse than anything about money. There was a chat between her and one of the bridesmaids. It came after our mom asked her to be a little kinder toward me. Emma: ugh, if mom backs him one more time, I'm going to snap. Bridesmaid: Lowell, he's paying for the wedding, right? Emma: yeah, because there's nothing else going for him. It's his sad little legacy. And then the biggest part, the hidden credit card. Luke didn't know about the card. I did. I saw it when Emma asked me to help her with her finances one day, and she left her Chase account open on my laptop. $19,000 owed, mostly on high-end heels and fancy beauty products. I placed everything into one clear, organized file and wrote a message. Hey, Luke, we don't talk often, but I think you should see this before you go any further. I've attached screenshots and financial records. Everything here is real. Please read them carefully, especially what Emma says about you and my family. I'm not expecting a reply. I just hope you rethink who you're about to marry. I hit send, then leaned back and looked at the screen. I didn't feel bad. I wasn't scared. I just felt like I could finally breathe again. That night, things blew up. I was in the kitchen cooking when my phone rang. It was Emma. I ignored it. Then my mom called. Then Emma again. Then my aunt. That's when I knew the whole family had found out. I didn't respond to any of them. Luke? He stayed quiet. That silence said everything. And it was exactly what I expected from someone who just learned his fiancé had been lying without guilt. Around 9 p.m., I checked Emma's messages. There were 23. The first few were dramatic. Are you out of your mind? What's wrong with you? You destroyed everything. Then her tone changed. Please stop. Can we talk? I didn't mean it. I was drinking. Everyone was laughing. Luke is not answering. You don't get it. Oh, but I did. Then she sent a screenshot of Luke's reply. I saw the messages. I'm not just canceling the wedding. I'm leaving. Don't message me again. It was sharp, cold, but it made sense. After that, she stopped texting and started calling nonstop. I watched the screen light up again and again. 10 phone calls in 20 minutes. I powered off my phone and poured a drink. The next morning, I woke up to a new message, this time from my mother. She started with concern. What happened? Why are you doing this? Then came guilt. I know Emma can be difficult, but she's still your sister. You made a promise. Then came the blame. What you did was cruel and petty. She's ashamed. Can you really live with that? I didn't respond. Instead, I went on with my routine, and I canceled one final payment, a post-wedding brunch at a rooftop spot downtown. That was another $2,750 Emma would never touch. By the time I had something to eat that afternoon, Luke had messaged me. Only 2 words. Thank you. That was all. But those 2 words carried more weight than anything else I'd heard all week. Then came silence. No one contacted me after that. No calls, no messages. Not from Emma, not from Mom, not even one of those guilt-laced emails from the aunts who usually act like the family's public relations team. But I wasn't clueless. I knew full well what was going on. Talk behind closed doors, backroom drama, blame being tossed at me like it was my job to carry it. That's how it goes when the person who usually keeps everything functioning decides to finally walk away. They panic, they point fingers, they fall apart, and this time they had no one left to use as the excuse. Later that week on Friday, I bumped into Kate at the gas pump. She stared at me with a strange mix of disbelief and awkward sympathy, like she couldn't decide whether I was the story's villain or its accidental truth-teller. "So, it's real?" she asked, sliding down her sunglasses like we were in some overly dramatic TV scene. I gave her a look. "You'll have to be more specific." She looked unsure, then asked, "That you ruined Emma's whole wedding, that Luke dumped her, that you told him everything about the debt, the texts?" I didn't confirm anything. I didn't deny it either. I simply asked, "If I had done that, would it have been wrong?" She blinked, paused, and then said softly, "No, that was enough." The next night, Luke reached out again, this time over the phone. I picked up, "I wanted to say thanks." He told me again, but now it came with a deeper tone, like he finally saw the whole picture. He added, "I thought she was just overwhelmed. Now I think she acted that way because no one ever stopped her." I replied quietly, "She always got away with it." There was silence for a few seconds. Then he said, "You saved me from spending forever stuck in that." We didn't talk long. There wasn't much left to say, but it felt like gently shutting a door, clicking the lock, not out of anger, just for peace. Meanwhile, Emma, who used to post daily selfies, countdowns, and engagement ring photos, completely vanished from social media. 3 days passed, then 4. Eventually, she posted again, a black and white image of some dead flowers. The caption read, "Not everyone is who they say they are. Lesson learned." The irony almost made me laugh out loud. Another week passed, then another. The wedding date, June 3rd, came and went. No ceremony, no reception, no toast, no speeches about forever love. Instead, rumors, vague social media posts from far-off relatives trying not to say what really happened. Loudmouth family friends making blunt comments like, "Hey, where did Emma's wedding registry go?" Or, "Why is the venue listed under another couple?" But the biggest shock wasn't the quiet. It was how fast everyone vanished from her life. Turns out, when the parties cancel, so do the fake friendships. Her bridal squad stopped following her. One of them, Rachel, if I remember right, even messaged me privately. "You did what we were all too afraid to. Respect out." As for my mom, she made one final try to pull me back into the family mess. She showed up at my place uninvited, holding a plate of lemon bars like we were in a 90s sitcom. "You've made your point," she said before I could even open the door completely. "But that's enough now." I stood in the doorway, arms folded. "Enough of what exactly?" I asked.